We'll see new horizons, my darling, far beyond the great divide. Pools of clear blue water, sunlight in the sky. You'll be mine forever, my darling, far beyond the great divide. Somewhere in the distance, northern lights will shine. You'll be there beside me.
Carol got a job with a tour company. This company was called Abercrombie and Kent, and at the time Pete was living with us, or Pete had come. Pete used to drop in. He would just drop in and stay and then go. And at this time he was actually with us, and Sue and I weren't married, but we were together. So Carol came home and she said, "Oh, I've just got this job at Abercrombie and Kent, and it's fantastic, blah blah blah." And she started to mention this guy called Garth, who was running Abercrombie and Kent, who was doing the fishing camp. And Garth was a Mr. Miraculous.
That's good.
Okay. And so Garth had decided, or Carol had said that Garth would give us, we could go and stay at a fishing camp on the Zambezi River. Peter, and there was Sue, Carol and me, and we had a little Datsun Pulsar. And this is in Zimbabwe in about I don't know, whenever. So we set off early, 5 o'clock. I was driving, the car was packed. And we were driving from Harare to the Kariba turnoff, which is, I don't know, Dad, how long, about 5 hours? It's a long way. So we get to the turning, and it's now about 12 o'clock, and I'm tired. And then you turn off the main road onto a dirt road. Now I'm talking potholes and a little Datsun Pulsar, and the temperature's slowly rising. Okay, the car's struggling, and we start to go down the dirt road. Now I don't know, in Zimbabwe we get these things called tsetse flies. They're quite big things, and they like to bite you, and they hurt you when they bite you. And we didn't have air conditioning in those days, so you'd have the windows down. I heard this night, and I don't know, I started to worry. So I said, what's the story, Carol? What's going on? Garth says there's a bit of a river to cross. I said, Carol, I'm in a Datsun Pulsar. No, it's only a small river, don't worry, Garth, he sorted it out. So I said, well how's he sorting out a river, Carol? No, just go. It's 98 degrees and there's a million tsetse flies. Anyway, we come around the corner and we see this Kalahari Desert. There's a Nile River, there's just sand. Dry sand. And I said, well, Carol, what's going on here? He said, no, Garth, he's organised a crossing. Now, in Australia, we call chickens chooks, okay? And on the first 3 feet of this Kalahari desert foot, this is the crossing. So I said, well, this ain't going to work, Carol. No, Garth has put the chook wire, we'll be fine. So they all got out of the car. And I get the little Datsun Impulsor front wheel drive and the revs are going, going to the sand. I get about 3 feet and there's just sand. So Carol and Sue look at this lot and they think, well, we're out of here. So they say, well, we'll go and find Garth. And me and Pete are left with this car that's now buried in the sand. It's now 180 degrees. And there's 5 million tsetse flies. So we don't have winches, we don't have spades, we don't have anything. We just have a bit of sand shoes, and we start digging this car out in sand shoes, and it's very hot. In about 2 hours' time, it was about 2 hours, wasn't it? Some German tourists come in, they winch us out. So we eventually get out of this riverbed. Now, I need medical attention. He's got blisters on his hands. We're in a bad shape. We limp into the fishing camp. We limp, you know, the car's broken, we're broken. And let me just, the sun's going down. There's a beautiful river and there's a bar, right? And we just hear this sound. And tickle, a little laughter. And there's Carol and Susan having gin and tonics with God. We were going to come and get you. Anyway, I thought I'd just share that story with you. That's our sister that we know and love. But I'm really happy that that both of these two have come together. I think it's fantastic. You know, in life, I think the older you get, the more you begin to realise who you are and your self-identity gets cemented, and you get to have a much better appreciation.
I have nothing not down because I can't write. And I should excuse me. My trousers are falling down as well, but don't be anybody scared if anything happens in that regard. I'm going to be short on this occasion because for obvious reasons, and I think every good speech should be like a miniskirt. It should be short enough to keep people's attention and long enough to cover the essentials. So what I intend to do now is cover the essentials by congratulating the establishment here for putting up a wonderful meeting. Yeah. And furthermore, if I may say, I'm going to quote Mark Antony now. When he broke into Cleopatra's bedroom, she says to him, "What do you want?" So I have not come here to talk, but I've come here to congratulate Carol and Leslie. I was at their wedding, the best man at their actual wedding, and I delivered Carol to the ceremony that day, and she asked me, because I was married and had 49 girlfriends, not all at the same time, but she says, "What sort of advice would you give to a person?" And I says, "I'll tell you the advice my old granny gave to me." Well, she says, "Every time you're going to have an argument with your partner, go outside and walk about." And she said, "Did it work?" "No," I said, "it did not, but I got a hell of a lot of fresh air." So anyway, but at that ceremony, that really enlightened me to what a marriage was. In that particular room that day, I saw emotion and I saw love. And I was actually moved by it. I'm not a person that's easily moved, but I was moved that particular day. And I would nearly consider getting married again, and I mean nearly been the operative word. But I would like to say to Brian and Anne that their daughters are in fantastic hands. Leslie, as you know, was married before, and I'm glad to see that he kept up his high standards. And I'm sure you understand what, and I'm sure you would appreciate that too, Carol. So what I would like to do now is congratulate everybody. And the union between these two families was never more apparent than last night when the two of them were sitting back to back and didn't know each other. Carol came in and then it was pandemonium. I said to myself, this is a union made in heaven. And I hope and pray that it continues that way and may you have a long and happy life in the future. Thank you.